You are standing at the edge of a major life decision. Your palms sweat, your heart races, and right in the center of your stomach, you feel a flutter. We call it butterflies in the stomach, or trusting your gut. We usually brush these physical sensations off as figures of speech or simple anxiety. But that fluttering is a literal data transmission from a fully independent secondary brain housed inside your digestive tract. Take a look at this 3D model. Wrapped around the entire human gastrointestinal tract is a massive, glowing web of neurons known as the enteric nervous system. As the counter indicates, this network contains up to 600 million neurons, more than you have in your entire spinal cord. It also operates using the exact same chemical language as the brain in your head. As we zoom in, you can see serotonin molecules flooding the intestinal network. Roughly 95% of the body's serotonin is manufactured and stored right here, which raises a strange question. Why would a biological tube meant to absorb lunch need the neurological hardware to feel, process, and actively generate emotion? The enteric nervous system is unique because of its sheer autonomy. If you were to completely sever its connection to the brain and the spinal cord, your gut would continue to function flawlessly on its own. You can see this hardwired programming in action here. An isolated piece of intestine, kept alive in a lab, will continue to perform peristalsis, that rhythmic, wave-like squeezing motion, for days, entirely unprompted by an external brain. To understand how it pulls this off, we have to look closely at the architecture of the gut wall. This cross-section expands to reveal two distinct neural networks embedded directly within the tissue. The outer layer illuminating now is the myenteric plexus. Think of it as the mechanical engineer. It orchestrates the complex muscular contractions that physically push food through the digestive tract. Right beneath it, the inner layer lights up. This is the submucosal plexus, the chemical engineer. It constantly monitors the interior environment, telling the tissue exactly when to release enzymes and absorb nutrients. Your gut doesn't wait for orders from above. It runs a highly complex, localized industrial operation completely in the dark, managing sensory detection, processing, and motor control all on its own. But the gut is far from a simple reflex machine. It possesses neuroplasticity. It can learn, habituate to stimuli, and remember a past negative experience, like a specific food that caused illness, so it can adapt its behavior the next time. And it shares these hard-won lessons. Looking at this diagram, you'll see a thick, pulsing cord connecting the stomach to the brain. This is the vagus nerve, the main biological highway of the gut-brain axis, constantly moving data packets back and forth. The communication goes both ways. When your central nervous system experiences chronic stress, it fires warning signals down the vagus nerve. This disrupts the gut's normal rhythm, creating chaotic contractions, the literal biological origin of those nervous butterflies. But notice how the upward flowing traffic completely overtakes the downward signals. Between 80 and 90% of all nerve fibers in the vagus nerve carry sensory data from the gut to the brain. Neuroscientists call these upward signals somatic markers. The gut gathers massive amounts of sensory information about its internal state, cross-references it with past experiences, and fires a report up to the central nervous system. The brain then applies a positive or negative emotional tag to that report to bias your choices. So an intuitive gut feeling is a very real, rapid subconscious data transfer. Your digestive tract sensory neurons are assessing a situation and warning you before your conscious mind has fully processed it. Recognizing the gut as a highly sensitive organ has inverted how we treat certain medical conditions. Today, gastroenterologists frequently prescribe antidepressants to patients with irritable bowel syndrome. They aren't treating a mood disorder. They are using the drug to calm hypersensitive serotonin receptors in the gut tissue itself. Similarly, therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy are now used to repair the broken communication loop between the two brains, teaching the central nervous system to stop overreacting to the gut's localized signals. We can also intervene directly through our diet. This microscopic view shows gut bacteria metabolizing food particles into glowing serotonin molecules. By altering our microbiome with specific diets or probiotics, we directly feed the organisms that manufacture the exact chemical messengers our brains rely on. Mental health and digestive health function as a single, highly sensitive ecosystem. And it is an ecosystem that you have the power to actively curate. Think back to that moment of high-stakes decision-making. We tend to view a split-second choice based on intuition as an act of magic, but it is actually one of the most evolutionarily conserved survival tools we possess. We hold on to the belief that the brain and our skull sits alone in a control room, making purely rational decisions. Yet the trillions of bacteria living in our digestive tract can actively tilt our moods, bias our social considerations, and shake our cognitive processes. So the next time you face a difficult choice and decide to go with your gut, you have to ask yourself, who is actually making the decision? Is it you, or the trillions of neural and bacterial passengers living in your second brain?